Throughout the years, as important as presentation, atmosphere, and well, the actual match card and storylines have been, the music of WrestleMania has an equally diverse history. In some cases, it's a layup for WWE based on the city hosting the event. Other times, 4 to 5 year stretches are defined by a specific sound, genre, or artist. From new metal headbangers to party songs, from Limp Bizkit to The Weeknd, from basic bland instrumentals to chart-topping radio repeat hits, it's quite the nostalgia-filled catalog that really takes you back. Think about the wait to get to WrestleMania and how many times you hear a theme song before you actually watch the show. Whether it's on bumper promos counting down how many days are left to go, in the commercials, or the tune is just playing as a bed underneath a match card graphic. Constantly hearing the same song over and over can really change your perception of the music. Songs lose their identity as just another piece in an artist's discography, and to us, they become wrestling tracks forever. A recent example is WrestleMania 39. Less Than Zero isn't just another weekend song anymore, it's the anthem to that show, and it'll forever transport you back to those 2 days in LA. The beauty of it is, it's not a stereotypical wrestling pump-up song. Then you have Green Light, which is permanently carved into our brains. Forever and always, that will be the signal that you're boarding the ultimate thrill ride. When you hear voices in the air, you hear them loud and clear and they're telling you to listen. It's a one-way ticket to 2012 and the mega build between John Cena and The Rock. The list goes on, and it differs for everyone depending on when they watched, what they connect a specific sound to, and the biggest thing, everyone's musical tastes, which are different. I'm no music expert by any means, but I've always found the history of these themes interesting. It's so funny to look at because in the earliest years, they're not really anything to write home about. WrestleMania 1 launched because of the rock and wrestling connection, and over its history, whether they've achieved the goal or not, the biggest wrestling card of the year for WWE has always been the promotion's attempt at connecting with the cultural mainstream. I know my audience, you guys want to get to the 2000s and 2010s all the way to now, so I'm not going to bore you with every single track from the 80s and 90s, but we briefly do have to go back. Of course, I can't touch on every single song, performance, or promo package. Some information out there is also unclear, so if I miss one that you like, let me know. For the first event, Easy Lover by Phil Collins and Philip Bailey was the track, and this just screams 80s. It's so catchy when you listen to the opening voiceover, the tune just fits the show seamlessly. Going down the list, you have licensed songs in here as well as little jingles composed by Jim Johnston. Listen to the smooth jazz saxophone from WrestleMania 5. This makes me nostalgic for something I didn't even experience, and it's soothing in a weird way, if I can say that. This is where Run DMC performed their WrestleMania rap, which aside from America the Beautiful was the first true performance at this event. It came together in a spur of the moment. Since WWF was told that DMC was a huge Hulk Hogan fan, he got driven to Atlantic City. They were asked to do something on the show, and it just kind of happened. For 3 years, they used Jim Johnston's grand spectacle, and come WrestleMania 9, we got this beauty. That right there fits like a glove. There's something about it that's inviting. It gives off the vibe of fun. This came right off the WrestleMania album produced by Simon Cowell, and it wasn't something they used once or twice. This was so nice, they used it 6 times, or some variation of this song. I personally think they should remaster this. Of course, not done by Def Rebel. A modern version would be really nice. It'd be a great nod to the earlier years, and it could become something that they use every single year. Having experienced nothing from this era firsthand, there's a charm to this song that all these years later, you can go back and really appreciate. Also, based on how the non-instrumental version kicks off, you can tell that this was probably supposed to be used for Survivor Series, music video and all. The mid-teens is where WrestleMania really starts to focus on theme songs, and they get away from this half-baked in-and-out approach. Vince clearly wanted to use California Love for WrestleMania 2000 since it was at the Pond in Anaheim, but probably didn't want to pay those licensing fees, so I assume he told Jim Johnston to copy the original. Listen to this and you'll also hear the theme song of a certain former general manager who'd put you one-on-one with The Undertaker.
Sure be trouble. Right.
You know it's the Mac Militant.
Coming to get it on.
This was also the show where Ice-T performed Pimpin' Ain't Easy during the Godfather's entrance, which I couldn't find anywhere since they cut it out of the uploads of WrestleMania 2000, but we're not really missing much since all he says is Pimpin' ain't easy, man. Pimpin' ain't easy, man. However, there's one song in this show's lore that's seen as the Holy Grail, seen as the soundtrack of the greatest WrestleMania of all time. My Way by Limp Bizkit. Nothing screams early 2000s more than Fred Durst and company and their in-your-face attitude, which perfectly fits this era. The most FU, Rage Against the Machine, Angry Dad music, and as someone who spent a copious amount of time playing NHL Hits 2002, this wasn't just a WWE thing. We have to pause for a second and enter the pathway of WrestleMania promo packages because there's nothing that creates magic like an amazing story and a song that perfectly accommodates that story with great lyrics. There's got to be some sort of ranking that includes Daniel Bryan's Monster, Running Up That Hill for Shawn and Undertaker. Recently, Cody Rhodes' Eyes Closed was an elite production, but I'd assume if WWE had to take one promo package and put it in the Louvre, it'd be this one. Slowly the story of Rock and Austin is told, and then you hear that one question. You think you're special? You do. It's like, wait, this is supposed to reflect the ego of both these guys. This reflects how these megastars truly feel about each other. You come to that crescendo where they're sharing beers and then all hell breaks loose with the lyrics, just one more fight and I'll be history. Then hammering home, it's their way or the highway. Everything builds to this epic drop, telling even the most uninformed fan that this truly is about one man winning it all. This isn't even just a promo package anymore, it's a tradition, it's a rite of passage to know where this came from. The song is timeless, and for a lot of fans, this is the greatest promo package of all time. Triple H was played out by Motorhead before his match against The Undertaker at this event. Yes, I know it wasn't all of Motorhead. Lemmy forgot the words, but I still think this entrance is so cold, it's so badass. Even though he's offbeat, even though the words are incorrect, it still sounds so beast. And I actually prefer the WrestleMania 17 playout more than the one we got a couple years later at Mania 21. This was the first of back-to-back years where Triple H had a special entrance. In Toronto, he was played out by Drowning Pool since they had the song Tearaway, which was used for the main event promo package. Superstar by Saliva was the main theme of this show. They kicked things off by performing and later made a cameo before the four-corner elimination match to perform Turn the Tables for the Dudley Boys and Stacy Keibler, which, I'm not going to say anything. This track was released on the Forcible Entry CD, which was a collaboration between heavy metal and rock bands in the WWE. This is where songs like Across the Nation, Slow Chemical, and The Game were featured. One of the tracks was a special Deadman mix of Limp Bizkit's Rollin', which Undertaker used as his theme song, mashed up with the original music video. They provided the soundtrack to WrestleMania 19 with Crack Addict, also playing out the American Badass. Of course, WWE's favorite band in the whole world, as Tony Chimmel said. And this just screams early 2000s, guy going 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and then the hype kicks in. Drowning Pool's Step Up was next for WrestleMania 20. It's so interesting to look at the shift that happens between 2005 and 2014. It starts off with WWE having a defined sound for WrestleMania, that metal, rock alternative, and then pumping up the show rather than pumping up WrestleMania's crowd, if that makes any sense. I'll get into that in a second. WrestleMania 21 and 22 had the exact same song title, both of them called Big Time. The Hollywood one by Soundtrack of Our Lives, and the year that followed by Peter Gabriel, which using a song in 2006 from 1986 should not have worked, but it did. For the '05 version of this show, have you guys ever realized how perfect this song is? When you get past that opening bit, the first thing that's said is Welcome to the Future. The lyrics just feel so perfect based on what this show meant in the grand scheme of things. POD rocked the stage the next year with Booyaka 619 for Rey Mysterio, which goes unbelievably hard. I miss when actual artists were used for wrestlers instead of the AI slop produced by Def Rebel nowadays. It just gives opportunities for distinct entrances to be performed with varied genres, which I really miss. If you're my age, this next one's really gonna take you back. Ladies and Gentlemen by Saliva, live from Detroit, Michigan, WrestleMania 23, with a pyro budget that just did not exist. This opening makes me want to run through a wall. What I love about it is it's corny because JR opens up with "Ladies and Gentlemen, welcome to WrestleMania," but it's a time capsule into where the world was, what music was like, where you were, and what WWE was. One song I knew I wanted to spotlight heading into this video is from the year Ric Flair quote unquote retired from wrestling, Light It Up by Rev Theory. This song right here is my nomination for the most underappreciated WrestleMania theme song of all time. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong places, but no one ever talks about how hard this one goes. It's pretty basic with the chorus being about lighting it up and that it's on tonight, but that imagery perfectly coming together with WrestleMania is what I think makes it work. That's why it's great. Sometimes you need that butt rock to just hit. WrestleMania 25 the next year, as we know, was a weird show. Triple H and Randy Orton had this killer rivalry heading into things, and they flopped so hard that it would put 2021 Finn Balor to rest. Big Show's goofy polar bear in Arlington, Texas ass was in Cena and Edge's match, and the music selection for the 25th anniversary, or so they make you believe, of WrestleMania just isn't it. Shout out to AC/DC, but it doesn't have that same hype. I never think back to this event and immediately remember the theme song they used. Kid Rock performed before Santina Marella won the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. Well, at least we have this match. Earlier I said that WWE started to prop up the show more than the actual music. You see that starting the following year. I Made It by Kevin Rudolph, a song that's about working all your life to make it to the pinnacle, that being WrestleMania. The goal for the next few years was to make this feel like the final odyssey of someone's career. Prop up the spectacle of the show, make it feel like the final destination. Give the music this aspirational quality that this was the big time. You've finally done it. You're finally here. This is as big as it gets, and you'll never, ever forget this. Same thing goes with Written in the Stars, even though the show was written by monkeys. Both 26 and 27 just bring those nostalgic feelings back. I think my old HP probably has nightmares about how many times these two songs were played. Plus, like, every sports highlight video in 2011 had Written in the Stars as the song. For the most hyped WrestleMania of the decade, WWE went all out with the music because it was all about two men, Rock, Cena, once in a lifetime. When you have a tagline that runs that deep, you have to prop it up even more. And I know what probably came into your head when I said once in a lifetime. It was that fire and ice match card graphic with MGK's Invincible playing. Now it's time to take a second to marvel at John Cena's promo package like we did with the WrestleMania 17 one. The chronicle of him being the franchise, never being home, and always rising above hate. Again, lyrically, Invincible is the perfect song. Superman is invincible. John Cena at this time is WWE's Superman. Voices in the air, I hear him loud and clear telling me to listen, equating to the boos and people telling him he sucks and the cries to turn heel, but he never gives in to that. When the beat drops, the lyrics are as my world turns, the heart beats. Cena rushes through the curtain and brings a jolt of adrenaline to the crowd. Then they showed the kids that this message was resonating, and anyone who doesn't feel it will never truly understand it. It's an exceptional showcase of Cena brought together by fan and family interviews. The actual pre-match promo used We Are Young by Fun, and that song just takes some of us back. iPod Touch peak, Apple Mobile Gaming peak with all the other songs from 2012. It screams that era, and it's a great promo package. What struck me is while telling Rock and Cena's story, they don't even cut to the build that much because everything that needed to be said already was. And if that wasn't clear, WWE legends gave their picks and basically told you that Rock and Cena live and breathe WWE. For the first of 2 years, Diddy came out, which happened. He comes out and brings out MGK and Skylar Grey to perform Invincible before Big Match John comes out, while a shirtless Flo Rida performs Good Feeling and Wild Ones. This was peak Flo Rida where his hits were bumping everywhere. He remixes the music by just adding the words rock or Rocky. Quick shout out to the End of an Era match too. Memory Remains just fits the promo package and atmosphere perfectly based on the story they were telling. The next year, from the ashes rises Diddy. This guy had the Cody Vader before the Cody Vader was even a thing. He performs Coming Home, and this song fits really well on a lot of the different undertones. The chorus reflects the story of the main event. Let the rain wash away all the pain of yesterday makes complete sense. John Cena, having lost the match 1 year ago, back to claim what's his in the WWE Championship. The same title that was taken off CM Punk to build for this match. His compensation was having Living Colour play him out before his match against The Undertaker. Having a special musical entrance is basically the kiss of death at WrestleMania more often than not. A perfect example is WrestleMania 30. For this one and 34, the main theme quite obviously was Mardi Gras, and the songs reflected that. Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt both lost after being played out. Legacy for Wyatt's story against Cena was too perfect. The next year, live from Levi's Stadium, was WrestleMania 31. There's a video I made a while back that got claimed on this show, and in it I said that this is one of the most aesthetically pleasing shows I've ever watched. Open air stadiums just have a different vibe to them, and when I think back to the show, aside from the obvious stuff, Rise and Money in the Power takes me back. 31 had that beautiful WWE Network times Nvidia crossover, which was oh so sweet, but the build to this event was oh so dreadful. When we got to Dallas the next year, maybe the only redeeming quality was the hood classic My House, another Flo Rida song that lives rent-free in our heads. Snoop Dogg was there to play out Sasha Banks, probably high out of his mind like Vince while he was booking this event. This is peak WWE. We're just gonna find a lazy, sloppy song that can fit any situation and it's gonna work. These are some of the years where the music was engraved into your head. Engraved so much that basic driving elements might change for you. Red light, green light, everybody take a shot for how many times you heard this song play in 2017. This song probably gave you PTSD from traffic lights, PTSD from Pitbull, PTSD from the colors red and green, and presumably some level of nausea. This song will forever be the ultimate thrill ride alongside that marvelous stage design. It's a continuation of that WrestleMania should have party music era, and it, in a way, is also the end of that era. As I talked about earlier, New Orleans had the basic Celebrate theme for it. Nita Strauss for Shinsuke's entrance was magic. And then we come to the 2020s and Weekend Mania. I truly think this is an era of WrestleMania music that we're all going to look back at very fondly because it accompanies some really important moments and damn good shows. I feel as though in due time, if not already, this will be seen as one of the most nostalgia-inducing 5 years, whether you like his music or not. As someone who has this man's music in my everyday rotation, all the songs that they chose for this stretch are awesome. They're obviously a stray away from the 2010s and 2000s, but that's what I think works about this. It gives this era a distinct sound, plus they're using popular artists from this time. They're slower, different tempos, but very memorable. If I had to make a top 10 list on my favorite WrestleMania theme songs of all time, 37 and 39 would easily make the cut. With the first one, I don't really know how to explain it. I just really like this show. They hit a home run with this entire aesthetic, and Save Your Tears as the song just really works. The stage design, the match card graphics, and the overall vibe. Then comes 39. Shout out to Hollywood Swinging as well, because that one's planted into our minds like nothing else. I have a major bias with this show since it was the first one I attended, but Less Than Zero as a theme isn't just that anymore. It's a point in life now. A show so good that maybe you can't get it out of your head. Somehow, someway, melodically, it was picture perfect for an event taking place in Hollywood. Genuinely, I think one of the greatest WrestleMania themes of all time, and I think one of the best eras of Mania music ever that, as time goes on, will age like fine wine. In these years, Uzi came out at WrestleMania 39, Lil Wayne at 40, Rhea Ripley also got a special entrance by Motionless in White, Wale played out Big E at WrestleMania 37. 2025 features the secret accomplice of John Cena and The Rock, Travis Scott, as Fiend is the theme song. Maybe that one will age really well, and 10 years from now, someone will be talking about how they're nostalgic about Fiend for WrestleMania 41, where John Cena won his 17th title, and who knows what else happened. That being said, anywhere you look, no matter what genre you like, no matter what music you're a fan of, nostalgia is everywhere. From Jim Johnston himself, Limp Bizkit, Saliva, Flo Rida, Pitbull, The Weeknd. Ladies and gentlemen, I Made It, My Way, Green Light, My House, Less Than Zero, Invincible, Good Feeling. There's so many themes that are incredible and bring back memories. That's the beauty of music, and when it's meshed with wrestling, there's nothing better. When those memories come flooding back because of the music and the dopamine hits, it's magic. Nostalgia is the word I've hammered home, and there's something about a lot of this music that just goes hand in hand with that word. Over the years, WWE has done a pretty strong job of giving their shows an identity and keeping up with the times. When you look at the different eras, they each have a distinct sound. Music from those different eras also holds up pretty well, and the evolution is just that. That being said, in the comments below, do me one favor. Tell me your favorite WrestleMania theme of all time. That's it for me. If you want more on WWE music, that's here. If you missed the last video, that's here. Thanks for watching.